What is up, dudes? Today I thought I would talk about the best accessories for your CBR650R. Things I've put on my bike personally, and some things I would recommend you to check out. Yeah, let's get into it. You're looking at accessories, mods. I would start with the protection first. So, if you look, I don't know if you can see that, but I've put on a radiator guard. That's probably one of the first things I would do. Most bikes come stock without one. And they're fairly cheap. It just keeps your radiator intact if any rocks come flying up or anything. You can get one that extends even covering the exhaust. Yeah, just protects your radiator. You don't want any holes in your radiator. That's going to stuff your bike up. It's going to overheat. So it's one of the first things I would do. Next is to probably look at some frame sliders. These are some EvaTech ones. You never know, you could drop a bike just moving it around. Accidents do happen and you want to protect your fairings. And frame sliders are cheaper than fairings. So yeah, those are EvaTech ones. I think that's it for protection. I'll just kind of go around the bike and just kind of go with what I did, you know. Next upgrade I would do is either double bubble windscreen or one of these, like a high race windscreen. The stock one is literally completely flat. It does literally nothing in terms of blocking you from the wind or aerodynamics. So I recommend one of these. I'm 6'4" and this is perfect. I can get in the tuck nicely. I recommend one of these. WRS does a really nice one. This isn't one of those. This is a cheap one. Basically just because I wanted to see if I liked it or not before I spent all that money. Next, probably levers. This is going to be a personal preference. Maybe some shorty levers. I don't personally love these ones, but I do really want to get the ASV ones or something. I think that's what it's called. I don't know. But they're really expensive. They're like $300 a lever. But yeah, get some shorty levers. I don't mind it for the brake. It's just the clutch. Like, yeah, I don't know. I'm just iffy with it. It's just not right yet. But I'll fix it eventually. Yeah, some nice levers. Stock ones are a little shitty. The grips, for me, that was a must. The stock grips were like a plasticky type material, or just a very hard rubber, and I didn't like them at all. These are nice and grippy. I love them. Domino actually supplies MotoGP with their grips, so if that doesn't tell you enough. They come in a lot of different colors. You can color match it to your bike. That's the colors I went for. But yeah, definitely going to get those on the next bike. That's everything I've done in the cockpit area. Maybe a screen protector. I do not have one on at the moment. I did have one, but it's a shitty one and it came off. Each to their own. Some people like to change the mirrors. Some people like bar end mirrors. Some people like those winglet mirrors. I personally don't like those. I think they look hideous. But each to their own. I find these mirrors fine. That's just not on my to-do list in terms of upgrading. Next I would do is, if you can get one, I would highly recommend getting yourself a quick shifter. Yeah, so if you see this wire coming out of the shifter here, that's the shifting sensor. They're pretty inexpensive for this bike, but yeah, if you got the money for it, I'd highly recommend it. It just changes the ride completely, and yeah, just enjoy it. Next, if you've bought this bike, you've obviously bought it, or one of the reasons I'd assume you bought it is because it's an inline four. Now, with that, you've got to match it with the sound. So highly recommend an exhaust. You unfortunately can't put a slip-on on it because it's one piece stock, so you have to go for a full system, or you got to cut into the old exhaust. I recommend if you want like a deep burgly sounding exhaust, I would go for like a shorty one like that. I've seen some people asking me what have I got on here. It's a Masari GP Street Series. A company in Perth makes them, I believe. Not 100% sure on that one, but yeah, they're pretty cheap. You can get them for like $800 and it's a full system. Acro does one. I'm not a fan of Acros for this bike specifically. I just don't think they sound that good. I've heard them with the baffle in, out, all of it. Just not a fan. Aero makes a nice one. Yeah, Aero or a Masari, gonna get a nice sound from the bike. I'd recommend that. Next up, probably a tail tardy. You can get cheap ones on like AliExpress and stuff. You really don't need to overpay for a tail tardy. You can get them like for $50, $20. It's just a piece of metal. You don't need an expensive one that's like $200-300. Just, yeah. Next, I would probably do some rear sets. I haven't done that yet. I will in the future. Yeah, I think that's basically it. Like, you could do a C-cal if you want. I'm just not a fan of it. I don't think it looks that good. Highly recommend getting it tuned if you can. It's very expensive to do. Well, it just adds up to the cost of the bike. But if you can get it tuned, do full system, high velocity stacks, everything, try and get a nice tune for it and it'll run sweet. Yeah, that's basically it. Like, there's not really much more to do with it. Some people have changed the master cylinders. I would recommend that if you can. If you heavy in the mountains, heavy on the track, you're going to notice a lot of brake fade. That's a big thing I've noticed with this bike. Once you start pushing, the brake fade's quick. Like, you just don't have the stopping power, and from what I've heard, it's mostly just this master cylinder. Everything down below is good. If you've got one of these, let me know what you've done to yours. I've seen some people even change the indicator lights. Yeah, just let me know.